creative buddies and friends all over the world. How are you doing? Thank you so much for clicking on this video and choosing to spend a little bit of time with me. It means a lot to me. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so how have you been? I've not been around that much. It's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. And yeah, it's mostly because I've been really busy with everything, life, business, all of it. But also I've been feeling a little bit down and out. Is that the expression? Down and out, or blue and low, depressed, one might say. And I think it's a mix of things. I'm not enjoying the state of the world, all the challenges that are out there, and I don't enjoy how people are trying to resolve these issues with each other, but because really it doesn't feel like they are trying to resolve it. The world feels immensely divided, and I'm having a really hard time living in a world that's very polarized and where people don't try to find each other's humanity and just sort of shouting at each other most of the time. I'm not enjoying it. I don't know about you, but it's hard for me. And online it's particularly amplified, I know. So I've kind of tried to take a little bit, like a step back from social media a little bit, but my work is there and I love everyone there, so it's difficult. And I've just been feeling a bit mixed about everything in the world at this point in time. It's been a challenge. So this evening I decided to carve out some time for myself, because what always helps me with my aches and pains, my emotional psychic aches and pains, is when I take myself to the art desk and do some art while reflecting on how I'm feeling and really being present to my inner state. And I thought, well, I will do this on camera, although most of it will be time-lapsed. Yet still you can see me create a painting of a girl with a slightly upturned face, which I thought was cool. And I'll do a voiceover when I paint, which I know people enjoy. So I can either talk about the painting process or just about my state of mind, and I can drag you all down with me. Haha, I'm kidding. I'm so joking. Don't worry, I won't do that to you. But yes, so I am here today for a couple of reasons. First of all, I wanted to do some art to soothe my very soul, and to show you another upgrade box for those of you who are new to the channel. If you are new to the channel, by the way, please do a thumbsy upsy for me, a like, and click subscribe, and maybe even the ding bell, bing, then you get notified of when I upload videos. So if you're new to this channel, I am a mixed media artist. My name is Tamara Poort from Willowing Arts, and I like to do, I teach art, and I sometimes share time-lapsed art tutorials on my YouTube channel, and I also do things like fun unboxing, art supplies, because some very kind people tend to send me art supplies and say, would you please review these for us? Oh, I shouldn't show my address. I don't know if you saw my address. Would you please review these art supplies for us? And then I say, of course I will, because that is super fun. So Upgrade have sent me a few boxes. So this is a company called Upgrade, and they basically send subscription boxes to people. And you get different art supplies and booklets and all sorts of things inside the box, and it's very fun. So I'm going to unbox this and do some art and sit with you and just chat a bit, and hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, do come and check me out in other places on Instagram and maybe TikTok. I don't actually upload that much on TikTok currently, but I'm planning on doing it again. And Facebook and those places. It'll be really fun to connect over there. And of course, if you love this, please do consider joining one of my classes. That's where you get most of me. Okay, so let's have a look at this upgrade box. Okay, so this upgrade box is number 41. Each one is also, by the way, I need to apologize for the state of my nails. This is real life, yo. I have, not had the time. I do obviously have the time to do your nails, but I'll tell you what I haven't had. The interest or the care to do anything about my nails. And I always say that's just because I'm a bohemian artist and I focus on other stuff. So anyway, just please try to live with the state of the nails. Okay, so Upgrade 41. If you join this, you get sent one every month. This number is probably quite old because this was sent to me quite a long time ago, and I've just not had a chance to review it. So if you joined now, you might get, I don't know, Upgrade 49 9 or something like that. I don't know. Okay, so let's see what's in this. So if you buy this one now, you might not get exactly these supplies, is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to, oh yeah, it tells me here, it's January. This is the box for January, I apologize. So anyway, it's still fun to see, and you know, you got something like it. I think you can, by the way, order boxes from before, backlogged. I don't know, I think you might be able to. All right, so I have clipped the seal. The seal, and then you can do a little this. So it's a really cool box, by the way. Look, you've got eyes on it. I always like this. I like the boxes, basically, how they do the box as well. It's really fun. So exciting. It's like getting little presents each time. And then if you're an artist, you get art supplies, which is the best. And then look, you get like a fun box, and in here it will say something fun. It's usually different. And look here, you get these little. You can take these out and use them in your art or something. Basically, they do something different with the box each time. I love it. Check it out. I'm insane in art. Like, it's just fun. You see? To me, it's really fun. And then you get a little package with art supplies in it. Oh, this one has a little tear in it. And then a booklet comes with it as well. And sometimes you get paper. It just depends on what you have. So 1 month it might be paper, 1 month it might be a booklet. You know, you get also here. I see it's probably paper. Yeah, there's paper in here. So you get different kinds of paper. And then stickers come with it sometimes. That's nice. Believe in yourself. I support this message. Don't stop. Love yourself. These are messages that I love. For sure, they resonate with me. And then in here, they tell you in several languages to have fun. Have fun. Veel spaß. Veel plezier. S'amuser. S'amuser. Divertirsi. I don't know how you say this. This is Chinese, and this is, I don't know, Hebrew, Russian. I love it. Questions, Fragen? Oh. Anyway, the boxes are fun, and I kind of feel bad about throwing them away, because, you know, there's so often. Do you have that when you have a box that you love, and you're like, I'm never going to do anything with the box, but I don't want to throw it away? Is this an affliction other people experience? Okay, if so, leave me a comment if this is also something you have a problem with. Not just this kind of box. Like, this is a super fun, awesome box. I have it with normal boxes. I'm just like, this is a super beautiful box. I cannot, for the life of me, throw it away. But I know I will never use it for anything. And that's not entirely true. Sometimes I'll reuse boxes, but it's rare. So anyway, fun box. So let's have a look. So here we have the package. Let's look at this. So what happens is you get a booklet with it every time, and in the booklet it'll tell you what the supplies are that you're getting. So we're going to get this, for instance. We'll probably get this particular pencil, which looks like, I've never heard of this brand. What I like about it as well, that you get introduced to new brands or new products that your known brands have produced. And they tell you it in German only. Is it only German? Let's see. It is only in German, but that's okay, I think. Is it only German? No. Yes. No. What? What the heck? Let me see. There's some English in here. This is the featured artist. So you get featured artists, and they tell you what they're using their supplies. So they show you their art, and here you get a piece of art. So here we have a piece of art of the featured artist, and she's drawn that with the supplies that we have been given. So it looks like lots of charcoal in here today, or pencils and stuff like that. So yes, it's mostly in German. I wonder if they do English versions as well. Ich liebe alte Meister. I can speak a tiny bit of German. The Germans amongst you, see if this is hilarious when I read it, because I'm Dutch originally, and I studied German for 3 years. Viele Dingen inspirieren mich. This means lots of things inspire me. I mean, if you're English, you could probably decipher that. Lots of Dinge, things. Lots, okay, vielen, no, that doesn't really return. Anyway, inspirieren mich, inspire me. Hauptsächlich die Welt uns herum. Particularly, I think it means the world around us. Anyway, so I won't do a translation of this. But that's my German. Any Germans on here, tell me how terrible my pronunciation was. Alles in einer Box. Anyway. There is English in here. So anyway, regardless of that, in here you can figure out what the supplies are and what brand they are and what what you're doing. But if you don't read German, you can't read the text if you don't understand German. Okay, cool. So that's the booklet, and then here we have some featured art, and we got the stickers, which I love. Where's the stickers? Oh, here. Stickers are going to go on my computer or on my laptop or something. Very nice. And then here, this is the paper that the lady, the artist person, uses, I think, to create these types of portraits. So I'm guessing we're going to get some charcoal in our little package. So let's have a look. Ooh, I am right. Oh, blending stamp. Love blending stamps. Okay, blending stamps and a lot of charcoal-y type things. Okay. Oh, and a eraser of charcoal. Okay, so we have a whole load of charcoal and pastel pencils. Let's just go through them separately and by the brand. So the brand is Cretacolor. Never heard of it before. Black chalk. This is chalk pencil. I have really come to love chalk pencils. Some of you who have been on my courses will know that I ended up buying chalk pencils by accident at one point, thinking I'm never going to use these, and now I love using them for subtle blending. Like I have, let me show you. For instance, this one. Just an example. This is a Germany Pit Pastel pencil. And I love these now. I actually use them quite a bit for shading and really subtle shading. So I'm actually a fan of, I use them in my mixed media, chalk pastels, chalk pencils. And this is by the brand Cretacolor that I've never heard of before. 460. It's a brown or black. It says black, but it looks a bit browny. Okay, this one. Let's see what the brands are and all that. So this is by Lyra. I have heard of them, I have heard of them. Is that in Rembrandt charcoal? Okay, so charcoal is different from pencils. I don't use much charcoal at all in my artwork, but I could try. Not nowadays anymore. I used to, but not now. And this pencil is Loafer Florette. Whatever that is, I don't know. And it just says Loafer. Doesn't say what it is. This might be a... No. It might be an eraser. Sometimes you have erasers inside pencils. That's kind of cool. I like those. They're helpful. This one, these are very thick, by the way. These are much thicker than the usual pencils. If you look at normal pencils, or different pencils, they're thinner. Do you see that? These are thick. Alright, so this is another pastel, or a chalky pastel one by Rembrandt Lyra. Oil. This means it's not water soluble, but I don't think it would be anyway. Or maybe, I don't know. And then, what is this? Again, white coal. What can I have? Koh-i-Noor. I've never used these before. So I'll give them all a go in a sec. And then there's another Rembrandt charcoal thing. I love blending stamps because they can really create beautiful shading. Then we have artist charcoal, normal charcoal, charcoal drawings. In Art Academy we used a lot of charcoal. I haven't used charcoal for many years. Now look at this. What the heck is this, everybody? This is a glove for half your hand. Oh. So we're going to have to look in the booklet really for what this is. It's probably, is it to, okay wait, is it just to, maybe, this would be kind of cool. You can just, is it? Why for only two fingers? I mean, it's actually really handy for my fingers because I have rheumatism, for those of you who don't know, and my hands are all difficult. You know, if you see how I have deformities. You can find out about it on my blog if you're interested. And so this is perfect for me, but I wonder what it's used for. I'm guessing for smudging. And then so blending stamps are great for smudging and blending. Blending, that's the term. And here you get a very special by Loafer. That's one of those kneadable erasers. So I will not be using any of these in my actual painting that I'm going to do after this, but what I thought I'd do, the other thing I always like is using this tissue paper. I can use that for collage, so you get that. And what we'll do is we'll do a mini kind of test with what these, so you get this kind of interesting, different kind of paper. And let's have a quick look at what the glove is meant to do. Let's see where the glove is in the booklet. So this is Winsor Newton, by the way, Winsor Newton. Yes, these are the ones that we're getting from Lyra, Germany. I want to see what the... Ah, here. See, here's the glove, but they're using it for on the 2 fingers. So why? Oh, so that you don't smudge. Okay, so perhaps it's to protect. It's to protect your drawing or something. So you put it on your hand. If you have a normal hand rather than mine, it's not normal, but anyway, you get on the cyan. You put it on your pinky and your ring finger, and then you're drawing. Okay. So you're drawing, and you're not. No, but you're smudging then, aren't you? Okay, let's see if I can then translate this. Here, Germans, help me. I can't remember, I thought this also came in English. What it's for. Okay. Diese Zeichenhandschuh, that means glove, mit specialem 2 Finger, with a special 2-finger design, is a perfect partner for Kunstmaking, art making. Hat eine universelle Größe und kann sowohl an der rechten als auch an der linken. You can have it both on the left and the right hand side. It can be both worn on the left and the right hand side. Getragen werden, that means to wear. Reduziert die Reibung zwischen deiner Hand und der Oberfläche. Okay, so it's something about protecting. I don't know what this means exactly. Hergestellt aus blah blah blah. Okay, so it's something about protecting either your hand or the painting. I do not know, but I like it. Really, I think I'm going to just use it for... I might just be using it for something else, which, you know, I'd be like using it for smudging, I think. Never mind. Let's have a look. Let's use charcoal. If you've never used charcoal before, it's a really interesting material. It's very light and fluffy. I do have quite a lot more charcoal still lying around in my arts. I went to art school in Amsterdam in 1995, and I still have a pot of charcoal lying around somewhere from that time. Okay, so shall we just try and draw something? So with it, you have this nice and loose, really nice sketch, nicely and loosely. I can just do a face or something. I'll try and do a face, but. If you do this, you need to, you know, what I do is always first try to find where my placement is, and I don't know, I can probably use this to erase the charcoal. Let's see. Can you erase this? Yeah, you can. Okay, cool. So this is an eraser of charcoal, which is helpful. Just take the plastic off. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of, and then of course you can use the white ones for highlights and stuff. So we're working on this, I think it's sort of, I don't know if it's mixed media paper, it's not watercolor, and it's tinted, so I'm working on a darker background. Cute little facey there. I have no reference. I don't really want to do this one. I mean, I can use her. I'll use her as a reference for shading, but no, I mean not the shape, whatever, not the shape and stuff. Maybe I do something. It's alright. What I don't like about charcoal, sometimes you get points where where it's hardened and then nothing comes out. Okay, so now let's just show you what can happen when you use the blending stump. So you see how beautifully that just blends and becomes faded, and you can really nicely create all sorts of effects. Now there's no eye here yet, but it's just for the sake. A little mouth. Cute here. And then if we had the white, shall we do that yet? Oh, let's remove this a little bit. So, or even the black charcoal, detailed charcoal pencil. So now here we can really draw detail with. Yeah, more detail. Let's just draw some eyes in. I don't know, I'm just doing lots of hair here. Not sure. A little facey. It's cute. She's a little angry. See that? Me. I'm angry. I didn't want to be drawn. Sorry. And then... So if you then want to use, you can then use white for highlights and things like that. Oh, this is not very... You have to really press very hard to get this to... Oh, this is because it's the oil one. See, this is not pastel, so it's not very kind of chalky. This one, which is hard to sharpen, but this will be chalky. So this is chalkier. White coal, probably, I'm assuming, actually. Coal, yeah, this is very, very chalky, much like... You see how beautiful that is? So you get a real highlight. You can do the highlights this way. And you can do the details of the highlights. You know, I'm really kind of doing some quick, like a little quick study. Nothing too... yeah. And then again, you can use your blending stump to make it nicely blended. That's kind of cool to do these. You know, these are cool for quick sketches and quick studies. And then if you do it like this lady, really detailed and spend a lot of time refining, that's also very cool. But I really like working with color. But see, so the cool thing about, what I like about the upgrade thing, the box, is that you get introduced to different supplies and that you don't normally necessarily maybe go for as an artist. So when you are always used to the same supplies and you kind of don't think to challenge yourself, you know, you don't think, oh, I'll go out and buy myself some charcoal. I mean, you could. Some people are, yeah, thinking I want to change it up a bit. That's cool, but it's also cool to be surprised by this company and then just go, all right, well, let's try and see what I can do with these new supplies. And I've maybe used, what is it, 3 or 4 boxes so far, and I've definitely discovered supplies in there that I liked and thought, oh, I want to, you know, get more of those. And kind of cool. Right. Anyway, we can do loads more, like we can do detail on the hair and really start to create shades and darks and lights much more. Oh. But I'm not going to spend ages on this little portrait. I'm going to do my other painting in just a second. Well, it is a little addictive now. I'm getting into the flow of it. Be nicer if I could make this into a finer tip. There's a little bit of thick, you know, the point is a little bit thick. Oh gosh, well anyway, now I'm going to have to keep going and forever and ever, but I don't want to. I have other paintings to paint, but it's cool. And I do like, I haven't really done this much, but working on tinted paper, so you start off on a completely different background than white. It's quite a different experience. Here we go. Anyway, a quick little diddly-do with charcoal and pencils, pastel pencils. Let's do a little highlight. This oil one I'm not a big fan. because you have to really press very hard. It's wax. This is not something I would buy. I do buy these. I like these ones, the white ones, and you can do this sort of highlights in the hair. I haven't done much shading around eyes. This is super slapdash. I'm doing a quick thing, but still, you can get something quite nicely. Thank you, fly. No, thank you. Goodbye. Go away. I don't want any fly friends right now. Ooh, let's see what we can do with the glove. So if I put the glove on my finger, let's see if this smudges or not. Ah, not bad. It's a bit like the blending stump. Haha. And then is this, let's see if this is a, yes, this is an eraser. Remember I said about, is this an eraser? So that is very helpful for the little details. When you want to erase like really small areas. So that's all really cool. So if you're interested in doing some charcoal drawing, let's see what the other one is like. So this one is the black charcoal by Creta Color. Let's see. Oh, okay. This one's quite hard, a little harder, so you can probably do more detail with it. Because the thing about it is if you're working in black and white only, you have to really create much more effect and depth with values, right? So you're really looking to master your values in your painting, in the painting that you're, whatever you're drawing. And that is where, you know, you get your, kind of your messaging from, if you will. Because you don't have color to kind of use to sort of communicate with, if you will. So having a variety of hardnesses in these hardnesses in these pencils is helpful to kind of create effects with. Alright, I really want to stop! Clearly I don't. This is like, stop now, we need to do something else. And then it's like, no! Let's try and do a little bit more of this, a little bit more of this. Anyway, so, there you go. Demonstration. But, like I said, for the next one that you order, you might get acrylics and some watercolor. It's every month it's different. So, this month we got charcoal, the next month you get something else, and that is the fun of it. You're getting something new each month. So don't think that if you now join, you're going to get this particular box. But I do think, I might be wrong, I do think though that you can ask for repeat, like you can ask for a box that you've seen somewhere. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you can say, hey, can I have crate number 40, whatever. This is 41, so I think you can ask for that. But I need to double check that that's correct. No. Cute. Right, here we go. Here, little diddly-do. So, that's upgrades for you. So, if you like this, go and check them out. There's links in my description below. And now I'm going to be working on this painting in watercolor, expressive watercolor. But I will be time-lapsing this part, and if you enjoy my videos and if you'd like to learn more from me, I run many art classes on my website, willowing.org. That's www.willowing.org. Yes, I can't wait to see you there. And once again, please follow me on all the social media and connect with me in other places. I really do love connecting with my online friends. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the rest of this video. If you do like it, please like and subscribe and click that bellio. And then we'll see each other more often. Alright, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the video. Hello, so this is voiceover time here. And I'm doing a voiceover because I've been told that some people really enjoy it when they listen to me Twitter and Twitter while my time-lapse paintings are being created. So whenever I do feel emotionally resourced, I do a little voiceover instead of just music. So hello there. Right, so here's a little a sketch of a girl with a slightly upturned face, which is an interesting type of face to draw. They're not that easy. The nose gets shortened, and you see more of the nostrils, which can be really tricky, I find, because sometimes when you draw sort of more exposed nostrils, they can look a little almost like, sometimes you make them look like pigs. Yeah, mine do. And then I'm endlessly trying to figure out how to draw the nostrils so that they look human rather than like, really big or just over the top. Anyway, so I felt like this sketch came out nicely. And, well, I paint faces in a variety of mediums. And sometimes I do acrylic, sometimes I do watercolor, and sometimes I do, most of the time, I do a mix of everything. But my base, I have two approaches really. Sometimes I start off with a watercolor base, which is what I do today, and sometimes I start off with an acrylics base, and then the process is a little different. So today but that's because lately, I was going to say, today I've started with the watercolor base because for the last year and a half, maybe 2 years or so, I have become obsessed with watercolor. So I'm starting most of my paintings with watercolor nowadays, and then I tend to combine the watercolor with either acrylic inks or Posca pens, and sometimes acrylics, and also pencils. Some of you may have seen my my expressive watercolor portraits of animals, which is a course I ran recently or in April, and I enjoyed doing that so much. It was so much fun. I worked basically in watercolor and acrylic inks, and that was super fun. Go check that out if you're interested in that too. So here I am basically starting off with my watercolor paints, and I'm bringing in shading with different shades of orange and reds initially. Later on I'm bringing in some blues as well to create some sort of slightly more neutral tones. And I'm really enjoying or feeling like interested and challenged by the idea of creating more angled, unusually angled faces. I like how she's got her head slightly tilted up and then she's looking sideways as if she's a bit suspicious. And it's just kind of like interesting and challenging to create differently angled poses like that. So I'm feeling cool to do that a bit more. And then here I'm starting to add some color to the hair. This is my very favorite, one of the favorite colors in the Schminke series. It's teal number 509, if you're interested. And it's got, it's a really lovely color. And I'm actually just laying this down as a base for the hair. With hair, I often just end up with, mostly I tend to create unrealistic hair colors. So my hair is often either magenta, purple, or blue. I have also had my own hair dyed, although I haven't dyed it in many years. I have had teal, magenta, and blue hair, interestingly. So that's funny. Maybe I'm just painting a self-portrait, as they always say, don't they? They say that every painting a painter paints is always a self-portrait, even if it isn't a portrait. So even if you're painting a chair, it's still a self-portrait, somehow, some way, on a deeper level. All right, so here I'm using, actually this is not a Posca pen. I usually use Posca pens, but this is a fine liner. I can't remember the brand particularly. I like using Pentel, and that's it, I think, Pentel mostly. Oh, this is a Pentel one. This is the nicely fine nibbed ones. When I end up using the other ones, not the Posca pens, if I need a finer nib, because Poscas have, the finest nib is something like 0.7 millimeters, and that's quite thick still for me. Sometimes I want to create really, really fine lines, and so these other pens come in handy. This here is a chalk pencil. Remember how in the earlier part of this video I was saying I do love my chalk pencils now. And this is an example of a chalk pastel pencil, or chalk pastel pencil they call them. And here's the blending stump again that I'm using. What I love about using chalk or pastel pencils over acrylics is that it can beautifully help with blending and creating softer shades. So it's something I've started doing, maybe for the last 2 years, but in the last year or so, more often and more intensely. There's another pencil that I'm using here. Now this is starting to bring in some blue, which kind of creates a more of a muted or cooler tone in the faces, so it's quite red. And this is actually a water-soluble pencil by Derwent. And I forgot that it was water-soluble. And in a moment, you'll see that I activated by accident with water. And I roll with it, but it was a bit of unintended effect. And yeah, that's why it is good to remember, when you're working with mixed media, how your mediums behave, because it kind of there's suddenly unexpected effects. Now here I'm using a white Posca pen, or actually not a Posca pen, this is by Artistro, but it's basically an acrylics pen, to create highlights. Here you go, you see that? I'm like, oh no! But then I roll with it and think, oh, that's actually quite nice. So I used a white acrylics pen to bring in some highlights. So when you do an upturned face like this, the shading around the nose is quite important to really give it that shape, clarity for the eye to get, oh, this is an upturned, face. And I think I'm achieving that fairly well. I gave her some cute little freckles this time that I thought, oh, that'll look nice on her, and we'll draw your eyes to her eyes, really. The freckles are sort of in that area. It gives you the nice, it draws your attention to the sort of important part, her gaze, right? Her gaze is what's calling us in, or at least me. And here I'm working with a variety of different pencils. I have stashes of different kinds of pencils, a mix of pastel pencils, water-soluble pencils, and just color pencils that are non-water-soluble, wax, kind of oil-based. And I'm using blue, orange, reddish, magenta here to draw shading over the painted parts. And yeah, the combination of this mixed media works really well. You just have to remember, as I just said, that if you're using a water-soluble pencil, that if you start adding water again, it will activate. And here you can see that I'm using white acrylics in a kind of an activated way as well. So yeah, this is just what I love doing. Combining all these materials together is for me, a really great way of creating effective paintings. Now I'm making her eyes. See how the eye white is hardly visible, and I even made it a little darker as well? I do this because, first of all, it might seem that eye white is genuinely white when you paint eyes, but actually it's rarely purely white, and that's because partially the upper eyelid casts a shadow over the eyeball, and also particularly in this pose, the girl's eyes are actually quite in shadow because of how she's holding her head, this particular angle. So if I were to make the eye whites fully white, it would actually look odd. And as you can see zoomed out, the eye white looks white here, even though I made it darker. So there's kind of like an illusion, a visual illusion happening there. But if you were to zoom in again on the eye white, it's actually quite dark. But compared to the other colors, it looks white-ish. So here I'm bringing in a purple that I love, also in the Schminke series. It's actually not purple, it's more of a red-violet. And I've been crushing on this color for a while now. And I use it in the clothing, and I use it in the hair. And I'm bringing in some greens, because really these red blobs that you saw me paint earlier, these are meant to be kind of floral elements. But I'm trying to keep it as abstract as possible at the moment. I'm doing a lot more detail a little later, but I don't want the floral and natural elements to take too much attention away from her face, which is meant to be the main focus here. And here I'm using some acrylic inks by Liquitex. And I absolutely adore acrylic inks, working with them, because you can kind of use them in really versatile ways. I used the pipette here to kind of scribble some line work and some shapes in the clothing, and in on the right-hand side is more of an abstract area. And what I love about using this is that you can then use a brush and water and kind of either keep the lines very intense, or you can kind of add water to it and it becomes more fluid and more activated. And so you get this interesting variety of mark making and brush strokes and effects, effectively. I really like seeing what paint will do sometimes, just like let it do its thing. But I am also a bit of a control freak. And I do also really, I tend to combine, like I give myself permission to become, you know, precise, to be precise in certain areas of the painting and then really loosen other sides of the painting. I have previously described myself as a painter illustrator hybrid, meaning painters tend to, not always, but tend to be perhaps more loose and expressive, while illustrators can be a little bit more precise and measured. And I really resonate with both those qualities in one way or another. And for years they were a little bit at odds in me. I was like either being very precise in my entire painting or only loose, and there was always something missing. So now I tend to combine these two ways of creating, and that works really well for me. That's why I'm feeling like I am kind of a painter-illustrator hybrid. And for me, it sort of represents bringing the coming together of the logical left brain and the more relational right brain. So that's, anyway, it's an interesting aspect of creating, how our brains work, and what tends to dominate or not dominate, and that tends to be a reflection of certain struggles I deal with in my actual personal life as well, which is the beauty about art. It really often mirrors the things we are experiencing or struggling with, in real life as well. So for this painting, I was quite loose with the entire approach. I kind of worked quite I don't know if this is a term in every country, but I worked on it quite slapdashily, which means I suppose not with precision, a bit more blasé-like. And then what I tend to do, usually if I do this, and then afterwards start to refine, the slapdashery. So you can see like there's brush strokes or paint bits that you think, that doesn't look very formed or refined. And it doesn't always have to be, like I just described. Sometimes the loose brushstrokes add incredible, beautiful dynamicism, is that a word? Dynamics to a painting. And look, I ended up using the little glove because I didn't want to smudge the painting, and I thought, this is really handy. So I don't know if it's meant to be against smudging with your the oils on your hand, or if it's for other reasons, but I found this really helpful. So yeah, I put that on, and now I've gone into a process of sort of refining. So I'm using pens and pencils and paint again as well, just to do more smaller detailed work. I often end up changing brushes to smaller sizes. I do some scrubbing. I basically first just lay it all out in larger kind of strokes and segments. Also that goes for drawing, by the way, as well, although I don't tend to show the drawing process on here. And then I refine it with smaller, more precise tools, excuse me, like the Posca pens or the markers or the pencils, like you see here. And I use smaller brushes to just sort of start to bring it all together. Now this, by the way, is a Stabilo all pencil, I think, yeah. And that's you can buy them in different colors, but I tend to have the black ones. These are very, very dark pencils, and they're very creamy in consistency. They're very kind of, smooshable. And so here I was using that, the blending stump again. You can blend Stabilo all pencil really nicely, but this is one where you really have to remember that it is a water-soluble pencil, highly water-soluble. So look here, I'm adding water to it, and you see how it becomes basically black ink. So remember that when you use Stabilo all pencils, they are wonderful, but can be tricky. Now here, I remember what happened was I was thinking, the neck looks a little messy, and the shoulder had that purple on it. So I'm actually using a little bit of acrylics here to kind of make the neck a little bit more even in a color. And because I also wanted to add a necklace to it, and it just, the messiness of it was distracting me. I wanted that to be a more of a, just a cleaner part of her. And also the ear was bothering me for a bit, so I kind of worked on the ear a little more, and I'm bringing that same acrylics color into the face a little bit so that the neck and the face correspond. Although I didn't need to do that much because the color was kind of in alignment with the previous color choices. But the ear was bothering me, so I'm redoing the ear here. And I also add actually hair over the ear in just a moment. You'll see that. So I'm kind of reshaping it a little bit. And then I'm kind of covering it up with a bit of hair as well, that you'll see in just a moment. I actually didn't end up liking what I'd done with the ear, and I could work on it more, but I felt like it was sort of good enough. I mean, I can do a little bit more shading and a little bit more, give it a little bit more attention, but I end up finishing it where I finish it. And this painting is actually, yeah, it was very much, because I wasn't feeling so good when I was painting it. It was very much just me playing around and really wanting to kind of, you know, just play with color and expression and yeah, just trial out and experiment with this upturned type face and play with acrylic ink. So, you know, I wasn't too bothered making a super accurate or, you know, by my own standards, of course, because all of our skills and our standards and our aims are different. But by my own quote-unquote standards, I probably would have worked a little bit more on that ear. But because the intention of this session was very much to kind of play and be expressive and splatter around, as you can see here, splattering is so much fun. And yeah, I'm playing around with this, the facial expression and the tilt was kind of the aim of this session. And I think we're not quite at the end of the video yet, but you'll see it. I think it came out really nicely, and it was a nice outcome. But it wasn't really the aim as such, you know. Sometimes I just sit down to have fun. And all the time, your painting practice should be fun. But sometimes I sit down with more of an intended, okay, I'm making this painting, I'm trying to do a lion, and it needs to look like a lion. You know, you have a slightly different intention around it. And this, I have to say, this was almost like art journaling for me. So when I art journal, it's for me and it's for my emotional processing. And while, like I say, any kind of art tends to help with emotional processing, when I just let myself play around, that is when I concentrate or I intentionally create, that's when I get the most out of it, particularly when I'm not feeling well. So yes, so I'm just going to play, and you see now I cleaned up, quote unquote, the entire neck area, and I think it really helped, because what you need in a painting is when you have a lot of busy things going on, like the hair is quite chaotic, the shoulder with her clothing is unclear, what is it, a dress? It's like a lot of chaos in this painting. You want some resting points, you want some focal points, like the neck and the face area are more of a resting focal points, and then they're surrounded by these kind of beautiful chaotic swirly shapes and colors. And so it helped. I thought just compositionally, I felt like it really helped to make the shoulder and the neck a little bit more quiet. I am adding some kind of decorations here, like necklaces, but I think that still works and isn't distracting us too much from her. So yeah. So now I started working a little bit on these flowers, these roses. They were very kind of, again, impressionistic. There is not a lot of, I didn't give a lot of attention to the detail of these flowers and the kind of shape of them, but I did want them to be a little bit more detailed. So I'm using a blending stump, Stabilo oil pencil, and here a chalk or pastel pencil to bring in some kind of really vague details. These are again just impressions of flowers and natural elements. I didn't want to go into too much detail, as this was a sort of an emotional supporting art session for me, where I could just be expressive and quick. Yeah, and you can see here I'm using that white. That is the chalk pastel, or the pastel pencil from and same with this blending stump from the kit that we just unboxed. So that's a really cool, yeah, it's cool to use. I like those pencils a lot. They can be helpful for highlights and things like that. And here I'm bringing in some shading, some more darker shading with another pencil, again around the areas. Now I'm basically coming to the point where I'm adding in some final touches. So I'm doing a little bit more shading on that ear there, and intensifying the highlights a little bit, because highlights can often fade after you've applied them first. They can just to fade a little bit. So I'm re-intensifying those, and I do that also because I like high contrast shading on portraits. And I enjoy the drama of that, the dramatic sort of looks of the kind of more high contrast portrait. Some people don't like that. They prefer more subtler shading, and I really do enjoy my high contrast. So I'm also adding and working on the hair again a little bit here, and then adding some more detail to that flower. So we're coming to the end of this video now. I hope you enjoyed watching me create this painting and listen to me witter on Twitter and witter, and you enjoyed this session. I'm about to start another round of live book tasters, which are for free. And that's a course that I run every year, which has a focus on how creativity can support your growth and well-being and your personal development. So if you're interested in that, do come and check out the Lifebook 2024 taster sessions, which start, you can start registering for those tomorrow, September the 1st, and I'll include a link in the description below. And it would be lovely to see you there. If you'd like to learn how you can utilize creativity for your own well-being and emotional processing and that kind of stuff, we do lots and lots and lots of that on Lifebook. So I'd love to see you on the taster sessions as well. Check it out. Check out the links below in the description. So, thank you for being here today. I so appreciate you clicking on this video and joining me for, about an hour of just nattering. In English, they say, in England, they say natter. I don't know if that is anything in other countries. I use, British and English quite a bit. I'm actually from Holland originally, but I've lived in England for 25 years now, so there'll be a lot of Britishisms in there. My husband calls it Tamblish, though. He doesn't think I speak British. He thinks I speak Tamblish, which is really nice. All right. Well, once again, thank you for being here today, and I hope to connect with you more. Do check out my links below, and I'll see you around on the interwebs, everybody. And oh, by the way, if you do create anything in response to this lesson or this sharing, this video, I'd love to see it in my Willowing and Friends Facebook group. The link is below in the description. Okay. Well, thanks again. Much love, and have a wonderful rest of your day. See you again soon. Bye.